Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cassandra from the blog Craftably Ever After, and it is so wonderful to have you guys join me for a little crochet chat again today. Now I'm just going to jump right into today's video because I've been trying to think of a way to explain what this video is about in a short way, but I haven't been able to come up with a short way of explaining it, so I already apologize for how long this video is probably going to end up being. Now, a few months ago, I did a little crochet challenge where I wanted to see how many toys I can make from 4 50-gram balls of fingering weight yarn. And I really enjoyed that challenge. So from start to finish, no yarn left, how many toys could I make? And then one of you lovely ladies out there, one of my crochet friends, I think it was Kerry, she commented and said, well, why don't I make this like a mini series where I do the same challenge but with different weights of yarn? And I thought that was a brilliant idea because I cannot pass up on, a little challenge. So this is now the first part of the explanation for this video, as that's where the basis for this video has come from that comment. Now regarding the yarn that I'm going to use. So for that video, I used a fingering weight yarn, which is my favorite. I use Rainbow Cotton 84 for just about everything. I love it, but it's a fingering or a sock weight yarn, super fine size 1. And for this one, obviously I wanted to use a different type of yarn. And in another YouTuber's video, I think Jennifer from Cinnamon Stitches, she reviewed the Hobby Acacia yarn a few months back. And I thought that yarn was absolutely beautiful. So a while back already, I purchased 2 skeins of it just to try it out. So I'm always a bit worried about trying new yarns because I mainly crochet toys, and not every yarn works equally well when you make amigurumis. So I prefer cotton or acrylic, which holds up very well for toys. So I only bought 2 skeins of this, one in the solid color and one in a color that I think she used to make some sort of a doily or a mandala, or I can't remember what she made, but the colors in it were absolutely beautiful. So I bought 2 of them just to try it out. Now I can't even show you the skeins because obviously I've used them up, but I've got the ball bands for them here, and I'll try and pop in a picture from the website of what the yarn looks like. But this is what I used. So it's acacia, 51% acrylic, 49% cotton. It is a light 3, so a DK weight yarn. So perfect for my challenge, a slightly thicker yarn. And I do enjoy working with DK. I've mentioned that before. All my yarn from South Africa is DK. So this was the one I did, acacia print in color number 9. Then I had acacia, like the solid color, in color number 11. Now you will see now it's like a blue color. Now, back when I bought these 2 skeins of yarn, I didn't know what I was going to do with it. Now Jennifer over on her channel, she mentioned that the skeins were the yarn was a bit splitty to work with. But I thought I'm going to give it a go. That's why I didn't buy now hordes and hordes of it. Because if I don't like working with a yarn, then I'm sitting with it. And I think these ones, if they're not on special, they're not particularly cheap. It's not a cheap yarn. It's not something I would use on a daily basis. But when it's on sale, I will buy it. And I will explain to you now my whole experience with the yarn. But that's not actually the challenge that we're here for. It is how many toys can I make with 2 skeins. Now the acacia comes in 100-gram balls, so it's exactly the same amount of yarn as I used for my first challenge, so 200 grams in total. Let's see what I could make. Now I can't remember all of the patterns, but I will put them down on the screen somewhere when I show them. and I'll chat about a little bit about each of the toys that I made. But just quickly, I'll start off with just telling you about this yarn. It was absolutely beautiful. It is a beautiful yarn. It is so soft, but I found it awful to work with. It really is very, very splitty. And I'm not the world's fastest crocheter, but this slowed me down immensely. I had to work very carefully. I used a 3mm hook on this. I think they recommend 3.5, so I wasn't very far off, but I knew I couldn't work with my favorite 2.5. It would just have been impossible to keep those strands together. So I did find it very, very slow going with this yarn. It is incredibly splitty. I think if you do make something with it, if you do, for instance, a shawl or a top, I think it would drape beautifully. I think the colors would look beautiful, but I will show you what it looks like worked up in little toys. Now for this challenge, I used a bear. So the previous one, it was practically just all a dinosaur theme. This one, I've been on a bit of a bear kick. Bears are my all-time favorite thing to make. And I think it got sort of fueled by the Boris bears that I made as part of Crystal at Chronically Crocheting's make-along that she did from that Cutest Crochet Creations book. So I knew I wanted to do a bear, and I thought I'm going to keep the type of bear similar to Boris. So, you know, a sort of a one-piece body and head, not a separate head and a separate body. So I wanted to find patterns that more or less stuck within that theme of bear. So the first one I made was this one. So there you see, this is now a good idea of the colors that I used. So I think the blue shows up slightly darker on the screen. It's maybe just a smidge lighter. I don't know if no, color doesn't change much. There we go. I think that's about the truest color, what it is in real life. It's a beautiful, beautiful blue. It's incredibly soft. Oh, the end product, let me tell you, is lovely. Like, if it just wasn't such a pain to work with, this would be a yarn that I would use again, honestly. So there we have it. I think this pattern was by Soft Toy for Joy. So this was the first one. I've seen it many, many times on Etsy, and I've always wanted to try it. So this one was a very, very quick pattern. I think it would actually be very cute if you put some sort of a rattle in it for a small child. And just maybe replace the safety eyes with embroidered eyes, but there you go. So this was the first one, but slightly smaller than I thought. Didn't use up almost any of the yarn, to be honest. So this was the first one, very cute. I loved it. Now, all of the patterns that I mentioned, I will put down in the description box below. The majority of them were paid for patterns. I do have a free pattern. One of them was a free pattern that I found, and I'll tell you which one when I get to him. But all of these I bought from Etsy or I think amigurumi.com. So this was the first one. I really enjoyed making this one. Super quick. So if you wanted a very cute, super quick bear, this one was very cute. And this pattern actually comes with two bears. So there's this one and then a girl bear, which is a slightly smaller size. I think just her legs are a bit shorter. But anyway, two patterns included in this one. Two sizes of bear. The next one, and this I must tell you was my favorite bear almost of the entire group that I did. I think it's called ROKIKI bear. I'm not entirely certain, but this is him. He's actually a polar bear. Now, the whole time I'm working with this bear, I want to call him an ice bear, because in South Africa, or in Afrikaans, I shouldn't say South Africa, in Afrikaans, we call it an ijsbeer, which directly translates to ice bear. And for some reason, my brain did not want to remember the word polar bear. So the whole week I've been calling him an ice bear. But anyway, he's not even white, so I don't know. He's some other bear. But he just was so cute. And he had this little scarf. Now the scarf actually I think is supposed to be teeny tiny bit broader, but I stopped right there. And it's got this nice, I think you can see it, it's got that very nice basket type of spike stitch that they did. And then the button, it's one of the polymer clay buttons I did actually back when I did the tutorial for the Easter basket. But all my buttons that I made were too big. But on this guy, he turned out adorable. Now on this one, you can actually see the color changes very, very nicely. And I really liked it. It's a very smooth color change, like it's not choppy at all, you know, it's not like a very sharp change of colors. So that's why I think if you do this, now there's a few colors available in the acacia print, not when I purchased it. I think when I ordered this yarn, there were only like 2 colors left. Most of their colors were out of stock, so I'm not sure if it's in stock yet or not. But anyway, I love this color. So this bee, oh my word, he had a bit of odd counting. It's not regular, you know, the 6 and then increase 1, increase 2, and it was a lot of counting. But nonetheless, I absolutely love this one, and I will actually make him in a proper white polar bear version because he is super cute. So there you go, my second bear. So we've got 2 so far and a lot of yarn left. My third bear, which should not come as any sort of a surprise, is Boris. So I couldn't resist making another Boris the bear, this time with a thicker yarn. His head was bigger and I could actually fit his muzzle the other way around. But now I see on the screen his muzzle is a bit skew on this side. But this still remains one of my favorite bear patterns. I must tell you guys, I would have bought the book just for this bear pattern. This is how much I love Boris the bear. So Boris the bear, I had to, of course, include him into this little lineup. So there we have the third bear. Next, now this bear is also one of my favorites, and I've made many of him. And this is by LILLELIIS. I have dozens of her patterns. I love all of her patterns. This one, very quick and easy to make. And you'll see the ears. This is where I got the inspiration for the ears for Buddy Bear. A few years back, I think when my son was 11 or 12, for one Valentine's Day, I made one of these bears, but in different colors for every girl in his class, including the teacher. And he took it to school and he gave it to all the girls, just with a little friendship card on Valentine's Day, which I thought was so cute. And the whole day, I just saw all the girls walking around with their little bears in their jacket pockets and, you know, in their hands and in their backpacks. It was so cute. So this one from LILLELIIS, this is one of my favorite patterns. So if you guys ever want to buy any of the LILLELIIS patterns, every single one of them is absolutely amazing to make. And I've made loads and loads of her patterns. This one will forever remain one of my favorites. So there we go. So this was bear number 4. Now at this point, my yarn was withering down a bit. I was moving towards the end of the skeins because at one stage I thought I was never going to use up this yarn. It felt like this yarn was just going on forever and ever. And I didn't even tell you the yardage. Not that yardage means anything to me, but there's 250 meters. I don't know what that is in yards. So for a 100 gram ball, there's 250 meters. Oh wait, 273 yards per ball. So I knew I couldn't make anything big with the yarn that I had left. So I went on to amigurumi.com and I typed in small bear. And this is the bear that popped up. This is another polar bear pattern. And this one is from AMOUR Crochet. Now she's the lady that has that gorgeous book about crochet iconic women. So she has this free, and it's a free pattern. I think there's many more other free patterns on her website, but this is a free pattern that I found on her website. And he was very, very easy and quick to make as well. Now I actually thought I would have enough of the, you know, the print, the color yarn to do the entire bear, because he looked small in the pattern. But as soon as I connected his legs, I saw I was not going to make it. So I decided to give him the little blue sweater, which he's got on here. And yeah, I had a very, very little yarn left after him. So I was getting to the end of the tunnel. I could see some light. I knew I was almost at the finish line. But I had such an odd amount of yarn left. So I thought, I'm going to see if I can squeeze in a little mini bear. And here he is. So, oops. So this is him. Sort of a mixture of different elements from the bears I've been making. And once I finished his little, this is a little loose scarf. Once I finished the scarf, I had zero of the colored yarn, the stripy yarn left. None, not a single, any single piece. I had a tiny little bit. I actually had to pull back the scarf because I just made some chains and then worked single crochets back. I actually had to pull the scarf out 3 times because I chained too many and then I couldn't reach the end of the chain. That's how little yarn I had left. So literally there was just enough yarn left to weave in a teeny tiny little yarn tail. So just in comparison to one of the bears, this is my tiny leftover little scrap bear. And all in all, this is all I've got left. So from the blue, solid color, this is the only piece of yarn I had left. Now I could have done, I don't know, something with it. I wasn't in the mood. So there you have it, folks. Now I can't get them all, but I will, let me see if I can. So this and this and this and this and this and a very, very teeny tiny little bear. This is what you can make with 2 100-gram balls of DK yarn. All right, folks, that was interesting. I love these challenges. I will do another one of these. What can I make with 200 grams of yarn? And I think I will be going the worsted weight route next time. I've got some worsted weight yarn. That's for a project that's coming up, but I will chat to you guys about that in the next video. But before I go, I wanted to remind you guys that there's only a few more days left of the All for Fall challenge that I'm doing with my 2 YouTube crochet friends, Julie at Kay's Mom Crochets and Caroline at For the Love of Crochet. And we've had a few other YouTubers sort of join in. We've had a lovely shout out from Crystal at Chronically Crocheting. She submitted her little design to us already, her little project. We've got Kayla from Llama Mama Kayla. She's participating. Michelle from Pixie Marie Creates. She also gave us a lovely shout out and she's done a project. Then I saw that on Instagram, Abby from Blue Heart Crochet, she's posted a photo of her All for Fall make. So please remember, if you haven't sent us your photo, please do so. We are super, super excited to see what everyone makes. We're super excited to see what each of us, like I'm excited to see what Julie and what Caroline makes. I'm excited to see what you guys are making. So each of us will have our email addresses in our videos. I will link all of those original All for Fall videos down in the description box. So you can email your photo to all 3 of us. You can email it to just one of us if you want, however you prefer, but we cannot wait to see it. So Saturday, the 9th, the big reveal. I cannot wait. All right, friends, that is it. Another very, very, very long video. But I enjoy chatting to you guys so much. And thank you for everyone who just shares this little crochet visit with me. I'm loving chatting to you guys. Keep it up. Keep the comments coming. Keep those suggestions. I've had some wonderful suggestions for patterns and little challenges coming in. I love it. Well, you guys, that's it. I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, the 6th of July. I hope you have a lovely Wednesday, a lovely rest of your week. And I will talk to you guys very, very soon.